Amendment of Indian Constitution is our topic. So, as I have written in the slide, Amendment of the Constitution, Article 368. Because Article 368 is the article that essentially covers Amendment of Constitution of India. So, don't forget Article 368. Another peculiar feature of Indian Constitution is that Constitution of India is neither flexible nor rigid, but it is a synthesis of both, which means constitutional amendment in the case of India's constitution is not as easy as it is of British constitution, nor as it is difficult to amend the US constitution, which means it is not completely flexible, it's not completely rigid, but a synthesis of both. So please remember this point always. Okay. So, Constitution of India is neither flexible nor rigid, but it is a synthesis of both. Now, how does this amendment, constitutional amendment, take place? It can take place by three ways. That is, by way of addition of a completely new provision, or some changes will be brought into the existing provisions. That is, variation of existing provisions, and sometimes repealing provisions. That is, in certain cases, completely certain provisions will be repealed of, or say completely discarded. So by these three ways, by way of addition, by way of variation of the existing provisions, and also by repealing the provisions, amendment can take place. Okay. So procedure is another important thing. That is, constitutional amendment starts with introduction of the bill in either houses of the parliament. And remember, never ever the constitutional amendment bill will be introduced in a state legislature. Always the bill has to be introduced in either houses of the parliament, and it should be passed separately in both houses of the parliament. In case if there is a disagreement about the bill uh, between the two houses, there is no provision for joint session to deliberate and discuss. Fine. In case of disagreement between the two houses on the bill, there is no provision for joint session to deliberate and discuss on it, but it is there for ordinary bills, which is which definitely evokes criticism, and obviously there is criticism on this regard. But however, we have no joint sitting provision available for constitutional amendment bills, but it is there for ordinary bills. Okay. Now, once it is passed in either of the houses, it should be sent to receive President's assent. Yes, once it is passed in either of the houses, it should be sent to the President to get his assent. And President has no choice, but he has to give his assent. He can't withhold the bill, and he can't return it to the Parliament for further discussion. So that is how the thing works. Bill should be introduced in either houses of parliament and never in state legislatures. If there is disagreement, joint sitting provision is not available. It should be passed separately in both houses. Once it is passed in both the houses, it should be sent to the president for his assent, and president should give his assent to the bill, and he can't withhold it or return it to the parliament for further discussion. Okay. So that is the procedure. Procedure for constitutional amendment bill in the parliament. Fine. I know that my voiceover and drawing the lines or highlighter pen is entirely different. I'm sorry, this is my first time doing this video, so I'll try my level best to bring some change from the next time. Okay, so see, bill passed by three ways. Constitutional amendment bill can be passed by special majority, by simple majority, and if federal provisions are included in the bill, special majority plus ratification by half of the state legislatures of the nation state, like half of the uh, special majority plus ratification by state legislatures of half of the states nations is required in case the bill involves federal provisions. Okay, so you might be wondering about special majority. Special majority means more than majority of total membership of the house plus three-fourth of the people present and voting. Okay, simple majority means simple as it is, more than majority of people present and voting, and special majority plus ratification of state legislature through simple majority in case whether the bill involve federal provisions. Please note that ratification of state legislature require only simple majority plus special majority in both houses of the parliament when the bill involves federal principles. Okay, special majority that more than majority of total membership of the house or total strength of the house that disregards the vacancies or absentees present in the parliament. We are considering only the total membership of the house. Okay, so that is about the special majority, and simple majority I already explained. It is very simple, that is by the bill should be passed by more than majority of the people present and voting. Okay, now I'll give you some examples how the bill has to be passed by, or why, in which all circumstances the bill has to be passed by special majority. While amending fundamental rights or directive principles of state policy, special majority is essential. Okay, now special majority plus ratification of the state legislatures of half of the states by simple majority is required in case the bill involves any federal principles, as in any amendment in the seventh schedule. Seventh schedule is union list, state list, concurrent list. That is seventh schedule. So if any amendment required there, special majority plus ratification by state legislatures is essential. Once half of the states give their ratification, that's enough. All the states' ratification is not needed. Then, states' representation in parliament. If a state has to be represented in parliament or any amendments in that regard, the same thing applies. Special majority plus ratification by state legislatures of half of the nation states through simple majority. And simple majority in the case of second and third articles amendments. What is second and third article? Admission of any new states or union territories to the Indian Union, or establishment of a new state, building a new state or union territory in the union, or alteration of the boundaries or the name of existing states or union territories in Indian Union. So that are second third articles of any amendment has to be brought into those, simple majority is enough. And in the case of official language, if any amendment has to be brought into the official language list or something in the constitution, simple majority is enough. Okay, so these are some examples for easy understanding. And one more thing I would like to remind you that is not included in the slide anyway. I forgot to add into the slide, but this is a very important point. That is, the parliamentarians, when they undertake constitutional amendment, they should make sure that the amendment does not violate the basic structure of the constitution. Okay, and a more clarity, a better understanding to the concept of basic structure of constitution was given by Keshavananda Bharati case judgment. There was a mention of basic structure of the constitution in some other judgments as well, but Keshavananda Bharati case is one milestone in the Indian history which actually gave more clarity to what is basic structure of constitution, because there is no proper definition, or there is no definition as such for the basic structure of constitution in our constitution. So it is through several judgments we are actually gauging the idea about what constitutes basic structure of constitution. So Keshavananda Bharati case is one which gave remarkable evidence, or which gave better clarity to what it is. So parliamentarians, while undertaking constitutional amendment, shouldn't violate the basic structure through those amendments. And if in case that happens, that bill is null and void and will never be act. Okay. So that is it.